If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, great. You got a doorbell camera. Now you got a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
No.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Get out of my house!
Ooh, Mom's jewelry. There goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, a free doorbell camera.
Free?
One that'll actually work for you. It's not total security unless it's the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
All right, it is Friday night Smackdown off the air. AEW Rampage just getting underway. Mark Quinn and Darby Allin getting us started. So I'm going to believe if Tony Khan is a man of his word and he tweeted out that Matt and Jeff Hardy would probably make an appearance, it's probably going to be during this match at some point, I would believe. So if you're not watching AEW Rampage, you might want to turn on over. I am Sean Stanley here at the OK Coin Studios in beautiful Miami Gardens, Florida. Really, Ron Gregor, I'm going to have to check that out, man. Ferbalicious44, what's up? How's it going? How's it going, my man? Ron Grieger, where'd you hear that from, my man? I did not see that match, that particular match. Did he get hurt during that match, Big E? Sorry, that's news to me. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to go here to my little site and see what we got here. Yeah, Big E hurt, taken out on a stretcher. Oh, okay. Let's see. Holland hit a belly-to-belly suplex on E. He didn't get full rotation on. It led to E landing directly on his head immediately after he laid himself down, and the camera quickly cut away. The match went to finish shortly after, and yeah, they're showing they got him being he was wheeled out. So as soon as I got more information on that, I will pass that along. Yeah, no, I'm seeing it now as well, Ron. Yeah, I didn't notice it when I was watching it on TV, but 100%. It looks like I'm gonna have to go back through and actually watch that. I got it on DVR, so I want to go and take a look at that and find out. Overall, I mean, minus that, there. I didn't think SmackDown was too bad tonight, except here's the thing. You have to remember, you're on the road to WrestleMania, so you're going to see these same goddamn vignettes over and over on Raw and SmackDown and any other WWE programming. So on NXT as well, you're going to see these vignettes over and over and over. And by the time it gets to WrestleMania, you're going to be so damn tired. And then you're going to have to sit through a 1 hour pre-show of the same damn vignettes. And then as the match is building up and they're getting to the match, they're going to play the same damn vignette. I wish they would make a few different vignettes and have them. But I thought the action tonight was pretty good. Start off with Brock Lesnar. He came out in the cowboy hat, but he wasn't smiling. He was out for blood. Paul Heyman came out. Roman Reigns not there, so then he chased Paul Heyman back. The only thing I don't understand is this. Bloodline apparently was there because the Usos were on the show. So why weren't the Usos out there with Heyman to protect him, to say there? So, some of the things going on there, the whatever the hell that was at the end, if you watch SmackDown tonight, the Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, everything that they had built up by kind of, the little things they were doing. Yes, you had Charlotte tap out. They lost me with that crap they just did on the car and all that stuff. That was just a bunch of almost, to me, it almost was like, hey, we have to waste 3 minutes. You guys go out there, throw each other against the car. We'll let you know when the cameras are going to go off and we'll go into the finish. It looked very crappy to me, and it it actually, to me, took away from what they had been building. And again, one man's opinion, but you did see the Usos. It looks like Nakamura and Boogs will get a tag team title shot. I'm sure Viking Raiders and other teams will be added as they go week by week. You'll probably have the Usos losing to every tag team known to mankind leading up to WrestleMania to when they face all the same tag teams. And hey, imagine this, they won't lose the titles. Don't forget you can get in on the chat and super chat. You can hit us up at Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. If you have any questions on there, you can hit me up on my Instagram or Twitter at Sean_Stanley11. Give me a follow there. I talk wrestling, talk some NASCAR, talk sports, talk a little bit of everything. Mark Quinn, Darby Allin still going back and forth. Pretty good match to start Rampage. With SmackDown, again, they're still doing the AEW tag team titles. You saw, drawing a blank, Naomi and Sasha Banks, that they were victorious against Natalya and Shayna Baszler. And I don't understand why Shayna Baszler can't catch a break and just get a push again. I mean, I don't understand. You saw, I believe it was Pete Dunne. They gave him another name. I can't even think. I don't understand why every time, what's up, Frankie Fresco? Every time somebody goes from the NXT roster with a name that they've built up, hey, let's bring them to the main roster and let's change their name. Nobody will know. I get it. It's pro wrestling. I totally understand that. But come on, man. Guy's been down there as Pete Dunne working his ass off in NXT. Now you bring up and you give him some, I don't even know what the hell his name was. And now I'm thinking about it. At the end of that match, it was Kofi took the pin off of the kick to the face, and it was a quick pin, which was probably so they could tend to Big E there. Now that I think back on that match, I do remember because I looked at it and I was like, that was kind of odd that Kofi would just get kicked off the top rope and go into the pin. But Butch, thank you, Ron Grigg. That's right, Butch. That's what they called him, Butch. How do you go from Pete Dunne to Butch? I mean, come on, man. This is just this to me. And look, man, I'm not AEW. I'm not WWE. I love pro wrestling, but it's like these guys bust their asses to build up names in your developmental, and now let's bring them up and give them a different name. Totally changes look. If you're doing that, do that in developmental. That's what developmental's for, to develop. The Rampage, I believe, is taped. They're at the Lexus rink. So yeah, that is taped. They probably did this right after Dynamite went off the air, or possibly maybe before. Some of the matches might have been taped before. They used to do some matches before and after. I'm not sure how they're doing it now, because now they're doing the dark and the dark elevations at the studios, at Universal Studios. So those used to be your dark matches and everything else. So you used to have, I mean, I went to the first time when I went to Bash at the Beach, there must have been 20 something matches. They were just going through them. The last time at James L. Knight Center, I don't think there was as many. And then it went to the live Rampage. I know the Rampage was live. This is the Lexus rink. I'm thinking this is from the Estero, the hockey rink at Estero. So this would have been from Monday, actually taped, which would make sense because of the pay-per-view. They probably wouldn't have recorded last Friday. That would have been live and then into the Revolution weekend, the Revolution pay-per weekend. Yep, I went to Bash at the Beach. Yeah. It was not that pat. Again, that was when they were coming up, and that was when Bradley S. I just saw everything going on. There has been no new updates, but if I get anything while we're still on the air, I will send that along. Again, for those just, I guess, Holland didn't rotate properly on one of the moves, and Big E landed on his head and neck area, and then he was transported out on a stretcher from the ringside area. So that was I want to thank Ron for bringing that up actually to me, because I did not notice it on the tapings, and I hadn't been on Twitter after the show went off because I came on to do this. So Ron, thanks for pointing that out. But when I have more news, I will definitely bring that to you. Amazing how many NXT guys coming up to main roster. Cool. Yeah, Bradley, I think it's cool. And also you're going to see Braun Breaker, and they said Gable Stevenson, who is not even in there yet. They're going to get big pushes. So you're going to see Braun Breaker coming up to the main roster soon, and then Gable Stevenson not too far behind joining late. But what the hell? I'm not calling Pete Dunne Butch. That's the same thing I said. It makes no sense to me. You build a guy for what seems like 4 or 5 years down in your developmental to as Pete Dunne, a brawler, and now you bring him in, you call him Butch. Come on, man. Some of the stuff I can't think of, Bradley, but I agree with you, Bradley. It's cool seeing him getting called up. The problem I do have with that, and we'll see how this goes. I look at the results that happen with a lot of these guys going up to the main roster, and it's never too good. It's never too good. But now Vince is in charge of it all, so maybe some of these guys. But if Pete Dunne is Butch is any indication of how this is going to go, man, I don't know, man. We'll have to see. I mean, I just don't understand why you have to change somebody. It's like Mia Yim when you brought her up, you made her put a mask on her, you put her with Ali and that whole group. This is how bad it was. I can't even remember the damn name, and it happened 6 months ago. I personally have zero problem calling Pete Dunne Butch. I think he looked like an animal. Maybe it becomes a nickname height type thing. Pete Butch Dunne. If they do something like that, yes, I can do that. And I get it. They got him as a little bulldog, and he's just beating up people, and he's doing those things. So it's not a problem, but it's just like, why Butch? Why can't, like you said, why can't he be Pete Butch Dunne or the Butch Pete Dunne? Or so I don't know, whatever else you want to do, but why take Pete Dunne out of it? You're not changing anything, man. It was like Madcap Moss. He was something else. He was something Moss in NXT, and they brought him up, and he's Madcap Moss. It's a lot of stuff. Just, you want people to buy in and get invested in your product. Well, then give them what you're having them invest in. People that are invested in Pete Dunne, now you bring him up. He's a totally different gimmick. Maybe ultimately he'll be the same wrestling style when he gets in the ring, but that's not the same Pete Dunne that you watch down in NXT. And is it a merch thing with Pete Dunne? Possibly. I mean, look, they changed Walter's name to Gunther because Walter had the rights to the name. Maybe that's the same thing with Pete Dunne. Maybe Pete Dunne owned that name and he wasn't going to give it up. So they said, okay, you are now Butch. And we want that name because that's what we're doing the merchandise on. That ultimately, I believe, is what happened with Walter. He didn't want to give up the name that he had kind of built up to WWE. So then, okay, you're now Gunther. Okay. Andrade, AEW Rampage, keep me updated. Andrade and the crew came down, and here come Matt and Jeff, the Hardy brothers, or the Hardy boys, however you want to look at it. They're dressed in the old style Hardys. Wow. They're still doing the delete thing a little bit, but they are dressed in the old Hardy stuff. Looking old school there. Hey, Sean, I want to talk about Pat McAfee. Numerous times, Cole said we may have seen the end of Pat as an announcer on SmackDown. I am worried. Brad, thanks for the super chat there, my man. Appreciate that. I think ultimately this is to get him away from the desk right now because, look, leading up to WrestleMania, you can't have him being at the announce table the whole time and trying to build this up. I think ultimately what you're going to see is probably next week you'll have something where, McAfee will probably be in the back or something, and Nelson Theory will be like, hey, I have an opponent for you. And then McAfee will probably, be wrestling and get jumped by a Theory, and then he'll, you're going to see more, I think, Pat McAfee in action right now leading up to WrestleMania. And ultimately, maybe this was Pat McAfee wanting to get in the ring more and away from hopefully not. But we can hope, man. We can hope that, he's going back. I don't think it's the end of Pat as an announcer. I think it's just building up the WrestleMania match, but that, because I heard it too. He said, as an announcer, you have to keep your professionalism. You can't just jump over and attack somebody, even if they deserve it. And, and then this might have been the end of Pat as an announcer on SmackDown. I mean, at this point right now, I don't know who they replace him. Maybe for the next few weeks, you throw in Corey Graves or one of those guys. I think it'll be more Corey Graves because, honestly, I think they're going to work Corey Graves back into working as well. But I think you're going to see him come back in with Carmella, which is why they're building this YouTube thing that they got going on the WWE channel, so you can start getting to understand Carmella and Graves, and you're going to see them probably become more on camera as well as, naturally their off camera chemistry. So I think, I don't think this is the last time you see Pat McAfee at the table. I think this is the last time you see Pat McAfee at the table until after WrestleMania. At least that's my hope. Unless he told them, hey, I want to go full-time, wrestler, which I don't think he's got the time to do. But if that's what he decides and he thinks he can do it, I'll be all for that, because I'll tell you now, man, I was very surprised with McAfee. And not that I know he's an athlete. I know all that. But to watch him and how he, worked with Adam Cole when they were doing their, little run that they had, I was like, oh, there was no mistakes. I mean, he went in War Games. He fought Cole one-on-one. And I thought he held his own. He did very well. So I'm very interested to see him against Austin Theory, because Austin Theory is a little bit bigger than Adam Cole, but he's the same wrestler as Adam Cole. So I'm very interested to see how they go about this. Super surprised Vince didn't own the Hardy Boys theme song. After a while, I mean, I don't think you think that the Hardy Boys are actually going to rejoin in 2022 and catch lightning, where they catch lightning in a bottle and thing like that. Is Matt Hardy going to paint his face again? You mean Matt or Jeff? Frankie? Jeff is the one that usually paints his face, but we'll be interested. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. I don't know. Has anybody heard the whole story kind of what happened with Jeff Hardy and WWE? The whole thing went with him about a drug test, and he didn't want to go back into rehab, and then WWE let him go. Well, it turned out that I mean, the man wasn't even doing anything, and they let him go. The only thing that he doesn't have now is what is the song? The one song that he does not have is, I'm trying to think here. What is that song? What the song that he does? His song is sorry, I'm trying to see right now if they sent anything about Big E. Some new news came out. No, doesn't look like anything on Big E right now. So I'm sure they're not going to jump to conclusions, especially if it's a neck injury or anything like that. You're not going to see anything come out. Hopefully, we'll get something from them. I'm looking at. Here's one of the things I was talking about Hardy. So he passed when they got sources that said that they backed up the family's claims that Hardy passed a breathalyzer and drug test, and then we're told wasn't conducted on the spot. Before the drug test results came in, WWE ordered Jeff Hardy rehab, in which he declined, which led to his release. Since then, WWE made an effort to get Jeff Hardy back into the fold, offering him a Hall of Fame induction, which he and Matt Hardy have openly discussed. There were multiple WWE superstars that we spoke to that also insisted Jeff Hardy wasn't on any substance during the match and just had an off night. One source in WWE admitted, which to Fightful, which is what I'm reading here from, that the company jumped the gun on Jeff Hardy's release. So they jumped the gun and they were trying to get him back, and that didn't Jeff was done with it at that point, man. That's what I heard. I think Jeff wanted out. He found a way to do it. Yeah, basically. I mean, look, Jeff Hardy has a lot of demons, man. A lot of demons. And, I mean, a lot of them happened on TV. The match with Sting and TNA. I mean, that's been well documented. If you've watched it, Sting didn't even want to work him. They ended up working. He could barely work. And Sting basically just rolled him up and pinned him and left. Did you see that AEW Awards? AEW Awards. Frankie, you got to come out a little bit more with that, my man. Yeah, I mean, he did. He found a way out, and he could get back in team with Jeff. But for a company to jump the gun on a guy that has, he's had those past problems. Don't get me wrong, and I understand some of what they're coming from, but at the same time, it's like, you had a bad night. Oh, you must be on something. Go get drug tested. I mean, what is that? It's almost like they were trying to find a way to get rid of him. Then they realized that, wait a minute. If we get rid of him, now look what we've just done. And what they've just done exactly is what's happening on TV now. You're watching Matt and Jeff Hardy. They just put a commercial saying AEW is going to do wrestling awards. Oh, I missed it. I got the TV on low, so I wasn't even watching during the commercials. I have to take a look at that and see what they got. They might be doing, I mean, listen, they're doing the Owen Hart, the tag team tournament thing coming up. They're going to do their own award ceremony. And then one thing I read today, which was interesting, and again, I really don't read a lot of it, but it's from Outkick. But they were talking about how wrestling is beating NBA in the ratings. AEW is beating Wednesday night TNT. Is beating Wednesday night, the TNT show, the basketball. And the same is happening on Monday as well. AEW was the number one cable show on TV this week. So they are doing that. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do an award show. They're going to do a lot of different things. I mean, the one thing that AEW does to me is they kind of cater more. They get the pulse of the fans and they build on that. And that's going to be one of the things that that'll be interested to see where they go, because as I said, I mean, they've got so much talent on this roster that I don't know what they're going to do. Someone was asking about the WWE doesn't own the rights to No More Words, so All Elite can't. Oh, sorry. WWE owns the rights to No More Words, so All Elite can't use that. That's the theme that he just came out to. But the song Loaded wasn't owned by WWE. It was being used for over 2 decades for Matt and Jeff, but it was actually produced by Zach Tempest, and it appeared on Spike TV and commercials and other things. Tempest also did the Holly Cousins theme. So if you've seen the Crash and Molly Holly, their theme, he also did that. And a lot of that was on the Spike TV stuff and things like that. So WWE did not own that, which was why they were able to get the original Hardy Brothers theme. And if you do not subscribe to Fightful, I would recommend Sean Ross Sapp and them over there do a tremendous job. They've also got a story up here about so Fightful is reporting that a new character named Butch, which we since learned is Pete Dunne, throughout the day that something very dumb was happening on tonight's episode of SmackDown, with numerous people chiming in that it would be a name change for a star that many already knew. There were wrestlers outside the company who knew the name change as far back as yesterday. They're speculating that it could be a Bushwhacker rib because Luke is Ridge Holland's real name. Another former WWE name believed it was based on Butch from the Little Rascals, the 1950s version. We're told that this planned as an official call-up, and leading into the night, there were plans for Butch, Ridge Holland, and Sheamus to take on New Day at WrestleMania. But obviously, however, with Big E's injury on SmackDown, they can't be sure that that's still the case. Production was instructed not to refer to him as Pete Dunne. So they were told, do not refer to him as Pete Dunne. Refer to him as Butch. And Pete Dunne re-signed with WWE last summer, so he's there for a while, and apparently he's going to be Butch. So happy. Hey! I did love the Bushwhackers back in the day, though. I wish I could run down to the ring 2 seconds, get thrown out, and make some money. But AEW right now, we got Hayter and Mercedes. I believe that's Mercedes Martinez in the ring now. I am working. What happened to Big E? Big E, apparently Holland, Mike, go over it again. I know as you guys come in, I will go over it again if you ask. He took a bad bump and apparently didn't rotate all the way over. I haven't watched the whole thing. Actually, I'm going to try to go back through my DVR right now and try to find the actual spot, but he didn't rotate all the way over on a belly to belly, and Big E basically landed on his head and then went outside the ring on the floor. I did think it was kind of odd the way the match finished, but I didn't think anything of it. I did not see the actual spot, so I'm going to try to catch that now as I'm fast forwarding through because I want to see what happened. But he was stretchered out of the arena. I seen on Twitter from people that were in attendance, and so we'll have to see where that leads to. I'm sure they'll do some updates, hopefully, throughout the day or throughout the night. And if you follow me on Twitter at Sean_Stanley11, I'll be retweeting them. I'm sure most of you actually follow the WWE as well. I'm sure they'll be sending stuff out, but I guarantee you they will not send anything out until they know one way or the other. Boogs was phenomenal tonight on a lighter note. Happy he gets a huge match at WrestleMania. Dude, I love Boogs, man. I am happy that that he is getting that match. Mike, I was more of a Sheepherders fan. Yeah. Me too, actually, honestly. I love them when they're doing Mid-Atlantic NWA type stuff and some of the other things. Mauricio Batista, Pete Dunne, awesome talent, one of the best wrestlers in NXT. Not a big fan of the name change, but I'll be super interested how he will perform on the main roster. Yeah, no, I agree, man. I mean, I hate the name Butch, man. It's just odd to me that you're gonna, invest all this time in making him Pete Dunne, and now all of a sudden he's Butch when you bring him up and everything there. But ultimately, I mean, look, he can work whether he's Pete Dunne or whether he's Butch. So I'm not worried about him getting over. If WWE gives him the right time and gives him the right, chance and opportunity to work, then I 100% think and know that Pete Dunne will be successful on the main roster. It has nothing to do with Pete Dunne or Butch or whatever you want to call him right now. It has nothing to do with him or his talent. It's just, the whole, gimmick here with Sheamus and Rich Holland. We'll have to see how it goes, man. I mean, I don't have faith in WWE once they call somebody up. I just don't. I don't have faith in WWE once they call somebody up from the NXT roster and making it work. Do you know that Boogs gets views for every video he puts up on his personal YouTube account? Boogs is very popular. He does funny workout videos. Yeah, no, Brett, I watch. I'm one of the 250,000. So, I mean, I follow him on social medias. I watch him on Instagram. I watch Alpha Academy. I think, when they do some of their funny stuff, also when they do their workouts together and things like that, they got some good stuff there too. But no, I mean, Boogs is over. Boogs is very popular on just in general. I mean, what he brings in here to WWE is just really icing on the cake, because he could probably, without WWE, still just be as popular because he's pretty, that's the one things that they do on WWE is they, if you can show them you can make them money, they're going to sign your ass. They're going to sign your ass. And they're going to give you some stuff. And Boogs has definitely earned it. And just the physique and everything that he's got. Mike, same deal. Yeah, Piper Nevin. Yeah, it's Dewdrop. Again, I think that was supposed to go a totally different way, but Eva Marie, look, I think because of her work rate and everything else, that just never took off. So she was just stuck from that time with as Dewdrop. Any update? Nothing since the Instagram that she sent out that I saw. Crush voice box. Some people said they think she might have taken a bad bump. I don't know. Some people have said that was an older picture as well. So it is pro wrestling. It is pro wrestling. Right now, I'm slowly getting to the Big E bump here. They're about to go to a commercial break for the second time during the match, and just want to make sure I catch the spot here. So I apologize. But it's going to be very interesting. So right now we've got Big E and Ridge Holland outside. Trying to see where there's the kick from Sheamus on Big E, and they're going to go to break right here. So we'll see if this happens right after the break here. Again, I'm trying to get updated on the injury that happened to Big E tonight. SmackDown Live took a bad bump. Ridge Holland apparently did not rotate all the way through on a belly-to-belly, which caused Big E to land on his head. And so now they're coming back. And sorry for the play-by-play, but I really want to see what actually happened here. And I know somebody said it earlier, Ridge Holland got to be more careful. I 100% agree that he definitely, he's hurt himself a couple times, and now, depending on the extent of this, and again, I haven't seen the whole thing. It's being said that he did not rotate for the belly-to-belly, so we'll have to see. Big E posted on his Twitter so that's going to put him out for a while. And those that know wrestling, neck injuries are not easy to come back from. A lot of doctors will not let you, will not clear you with a neck injury. Cause again, you take bumps and again, everybody uses the F word in, Gordon Soley. You're nowhere close to the great Gordon Soley. No way. No how. Gordon Soley could sit there and he could make everything sound so good. And yeah, it does suck for Big E. That does it for that match is done. And now, if it was going to be Holland, Ridge Holland, Sheamus, and I guess Butch at WrestleMania, I'm guessing at some point King Xavier was coming back, right? Oh my God. Okay. All right. Yeah. I just saw the move, and 100% that did not rotate. He didn't snap his hips underneath him. And that sent everything off. Man, that's a big guy to land on the top of your head the way he did there. Ultimately, again, with the way, look, Edge came back, right? Edge, Kurt Angle, somebody said right here, Frankie Fresco, you can return from these neck injuries. The problems are, with the neck injuries is, when you tuck your chin and your head flips back, it's the whiplash thing. For those that, Miami Heat fans with Markieff Morris, he had a neck injury before. Jokic hits him from behind, and now he hasn't played basketball in 3 months. And it's because they haven't cleared him. The doctors are worried that if he takes another hit, it could do something possibly damage to his neck. That's the worry that you get when you get these neck injuries. And again, Edge didn't wrestle for almost 10 years or so. And what was he doing when he wasn't wrestling? Was he getting any types of therapies or was he doing any types of anything, some type of therapy or something with his neck that helped strengthen everything there before he came back, So, neck injuries are never good, especially for bigger guys. And that was a terrible, terrible injury and 100% to me was on Rich Holland. He didn't snap over. He just kind of went backwards, and Big E's a big guy. You've got to post him up and over, and Big E just went right on his head, and then the body weight transferred him over. And as Ron was saying, I guess he posted on his Instagram that it's a broken neck. So yeah, Big E's going to be out for that. That's probably at least a year before you possibly see anything with Big E. That's a damn shame, man. Wow, life comes at you fast. So he has feelings. He says he's got all his feelings, but man, how the hell? God, I feel so bad for him, man. For the highs that he was on, he was the champ, the WWE Heavyweight Champion, and now he's in a hospital bed with a broken neck, man. Jesus, how quickly everything changes. Sean, do wrestlers have insurance policies on their careers? Like if Big E can't wrestle, does he get paid? I don't know where they stand anymore. There was an insurance that they used to get. I want to say it was Saks Fifth Avenue or whatever that one it was. Where football players have it all the time as well. Where if a quarterback injures his shoulder, he'll make so much money. But I mean, man, I again, depending on what the insurance policy is, I'm sure Big E would make a lot more money if he was working, but hopefully he's got something, and hopefully I think he's been smart with his money, at least everything I've seen from him and Kofi and all the Lloyds of London. Bradley, yes, you the man. Thank you, buddy. I don't know why I think it's Saks Fifth Avenue. That's clothing, right? Lloyds of London. Thank you, Bradley. I appreciate that. But I know WCW guys made that real big back for a few of them. I forgot who it was that originally did it. God, who was it? It wasn't Piper, was it? One of the guys going over to WCW when they started doing their guaranteed deals started getting like Lloyds of London's insurance policies and things like that on themselves. So they started taking care of themselves, I guess, in a way to where if they can't wrestle or whatever, they'll still make some money. Because again, wrestlers back in the day, remember, you didn't work, you didn't get paid, man. You didn't get work, you didn't get paid. And now even in WWE is you have a downside guarantee, which when you don't work, you're guaranteed at least X amount. If you work, then, you could get more money because now you're getting merchandise, you're getting all this other stuff. So your money can, it can fluctuate there. I heard Bret Hart talking about it once. Brad, maybe it was on one of his documentaries that I heard that. I know a lot of them started doing that and taking out, the Lloyds of London. Maybe that was one of those. I wonder if one of those was the ones where I heard it. Frankie Fresco, Sean, what was your worst injury when you wrestled? I took a bulldog from a big guy, Ram Man, RIP, and I popped my shoulder out during the match, and then got it popped back in on the ring post. Fortunately for me, that was probably my worst injury. Thumbtacks don't feel too good coming out. Going in, you barely feel them, but coming out, not so much. Not such a good feeling there. And I took a lobster pot to the head, which I didn't know was a lobster pot. I thought it was those little, those little popcorn tins that you get at Christmas. They're very, very thin. They make a loud noise. So I told the guy, grab one of them, throw it at my face, and nail me. It'll sound great. Apparently, he didn't check what he was throwing, and he threw a lobster pot. And the next thing I knew, I had a I don't know, a growth, I guess you want to call it, from the side of my head because it hit me so hard it about knocked me into next week, and I was in the hospital for about a day with a concussion. But other than that, actually, it wasn't even. I was at the hospital for a day, but I was just in the ER. It took so long that by the time everything was done, I was good, and I got up and they released me. But yeah, those are some of the things. I guess the shoulder injury would probably be my worst. I went in with bad knees, so it is what it is. But I mean, I've seen, some bad injuries. And of course, if you've watched wrestling long enough, you've definitely seen some bad injuries. Sid Vicious, the one off the top rope, comes to mind. Which, man, I'm not sure how the hell they talked him into doing that. Hey, Sid, I got a great move for you. You're 6'10", right? Hey, go up to the top rope, jump off, and kick Scott Steiner in the face. Land one leg on the ring, and kick him in the face as you're coming down. Yeah, that doesn't end well. And but I mean, man, injuries are part of the game. I mean, you're going to get injured. It's just, you don't like seeing, sloppy injuries like what I mean. And again, I don't know what the situation was, but it definitely looked like Rich Holland either he didn't know he was going to go over the way he did or whatever, but he wasn't being protective of Biggie in the move. If you watch it, he kind of goes over. I wouldn't even say nonchalantly, but he kind of just goes over, and then Biggie just doesn't rotate over and lands right on his head. For like the small wrestling companies, if you get injured, are you pretty much screwed? Yeah. Yep. Yes, you are. Because not only that, but more than likely you're not able to go to your 9-to-5 job. And so now you not only lose the peanuts you were probably making wrestling that night, but now you're probably going to be out of your 9-to-5 job. And depending on what your 9-to-5 job is, you could possibly lose that job as well. It's again, it's a business that you do because you love it. Do you hope to get the break and go places? 100%. Now the door is pretty much closed for a lot of the indie guys, except for AEW. But also AEW is picking up a lot of the WWE scraps. So how much room is left for independent guys to go to AEW? So you're gonna have to blow some socks off of people to get in. You still have Impact, you still have NWA, but ultimately, they picked up a lot of the Ring of Honor guys. The Impact guys did. So Impact picked up a lot of your Ring of Honor guys that were let go. So now you got Ring of Honor coming back, purchased by Tony Khan. Keith Lee, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Ricky Starks are attacking Keith Lee on Rampage now. And One Punch Lee sends Starks down and out. And now, Hobbs with the spine buster on Keith Lee. So maybe they're finally going to do something with Hobbs. We'll have to see there. But again, with AEW, I mean, technically they have 3 hours of TV a week. If you look at WWE, they have 7. So I don't know what AEW is ultimately going to do with all this talent. I mean, you saw on Wednesday, they did a lot of promos. I mean, but as far as the wrestling in the ring, there wasn't a lot of the wrestling. Swerve's going to make his debut on Rampage, taking on Tony Nese. Oh, the main event's coming up. Mark Henry's on the TV. That's always good. When you see Mark Henry on the TV, you know it's time. It's main event time. Giordano, appreciate the content, man. Anytime. I appreciate you guys being on here with me. Don't forget, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, at Sean_Stanley11. We're here after each of the TV shows, Raw, NXT, Dynamite, and then, of course, tonight we will start going maybe a preview, or it'll probably stay at a preview of pay-per-views. It just gets going too late, especially with AEW, because AEW does a scrum usually after the big pay-per-views. They'll do a media scrum. This one for AEW Revolution, as told you, didn't get over to almost 2:00 in the morning. So we'll probably do previews and not really post pay-per-views. Maybe WWE we can, because they usually go off at about 10 or 11. Maybe we can do some of those. WrestleMania will definitely have a pre and probably a post both nights. Frankie Fresco, what happened to Kip Sabian? He got injured and they just haven't brought him back, man. I haven't checked out Dark Elevation or Dark for the last couple of weeks, though. So I don't think they had brought him back as of the last thing that I read, but his injury has healed up. And so hopefully you'll start seeing some of that. So next week they're going to have the St. Patrick's Day Slam. Scorpio Sky is going to take on Wardlow. So it looks like that's probably going to be the jump off of MJF costing Wardlow, and they'll probably kickstart the feud, I got to believe, with Wardlow and MJF, because I think Scorpio Sky deserves to have the title much longer than just 1 week. To put the belt on him and take it off would be a travesty. But you never know. So Tony Nese coming to the ring now. So yeah, Big E says, unfortunately, they tell me my neck's broken. But once again, he wants to thank everybody. He's going to be all right. Don't worry. Go to sleep. So that was on his Instagram. Ron, thanks for showing me that or telling me about that. I appreciate that, my man. Let's see here. We got a couple more minutes here. Get your questions in if you want them. Of course, you can reach out, Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. I want to look back at the Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey for a moment at the end. I mean, I thought they did enough during the show to kind of leave it alone, but then the cluster F at the end, really, I almost don't even want to watch that match anymore. I don't even, it totally took me away from caring about the match, just because I mean, what the hell was that? They're sitting there fighting each other, throwing each other. I honestly thought they were going to do the same damn thing they did the last time when they arrested Ronda Rousey, and then she was in the car, and then Flair kicked the door on her. Larry Jr., what's up, my man? How you doing? Welcome to Squared Circle Digest. We're recapping SmackDown, talking a little bit of AEW Rampage and wrestling. And you got any questions, get them in. And the big news, Big E apparently has a broken neck from tonight's SmackDown. He took a bad bump with Ridge Holland not rotating him over, and he landed on his head outside the ring, was stretchered out, and since then has hit his own Instagram to send on the news that looks like he's going to be out for quite a while, which will probably shake up one match at WrestleMania, but not a whole lot. I wouldn't say shake up the whole card, but definitely will shake up that match. We'll see what happens with Kofi, because again, if King Xavier's not coming back, you got Kofi right now, Ridge Holland, Sheamus, and Butch. What are they going to do? I'd like to see Butch against Kofi. I can see that. Pete Dunne against Kofi. I would love that match. Find something else for Sheamus to do. You got a few weeks. You got about 3-4 weeks to work that out. I think you can make that happen. Right now, Swerve, again, making his AEW debut. This is another guy, man. Like, I don't understand when WWE did their releases, man. I'm not saying, Hit Row was everything, but at that point, they were, to me, starting to get over with the audience. They were starting to, get some push behind them. I'm not sure what happens behind the scenes or all that 100% with that group, but it was real weird that all of a sudden they cut 2 of them, and then the following week they cut the other 2, and then the next thing you know, they're all gone. And then you had AJ Francis, the one guy, he was doing one of the TV shows for WWE when they would go with, and he was like with the Undertaker finding Kane's mask and all that, the treasure hunting show and things like that, and now he's gone. Just like that. Wrestling is such a weird business. It really is what have you done for me lately, right? I mean, you got your guys, again, look, Braun Strowman held out, got himself a great deal. Problem with pro wrestling, just like any other sport, I guess, in a way, is it's not guaranteed, my man. It's not guaranteed money. You can sign a $3 million contract, but I'll cut you tomorrow, and then I'll cut you tomorrow, and you can't even go and get another job in pro wrestling for 90 days because I got you on a 90-day no-compete clause. So for 90 days, you sit at home, you get your downside, so you still get some money. Don't get me wrong. They're not sitting home not getting paid. They're getting their downside guarantee for those 90 days. And then they're finally released. So it's not like they're sitting home not getting paid or anything like that. AKW Beats, what's up, my man? Good to see you tonight. Want to hear someone say wrestling fake at the beginning? No, man. Like I say, man, the F word to me is it's just ridiculous. Again, I have wrestled, so I understand, what they put their bodies through and what you trust for somebody else. And again, man, one slip, man, dude. Sting, 63 years old, jumping off a goddamn uh God damn a balcony through 3 tables, man. What the hell are you thinking, buddy? Good God, man. Come on. Sting, all you got to do is stand up there and just yell, buddy. They'll go crazy. This guy wants to Darby's rubbing off on him the wrong way. Next thing you know, he's gonna start doing a coffin drop off the balcony or something. That we don't need to see. I don't need to see 63-year-old Sting doing coffin drops on people. But yeah, man, that's the one thing that, and I got it here when I first started this last week. Everybody's like, "Oh, wrestling's fake," and dude, not fake. Predetermined. You want us to do some things like that? Yes, definitely not fake, man. Not fake at all. These injuries, man, dude. I mean, look what happened with the guy oh man. He signed, he took on the first night he took on Adam Cole. He was cut from WWE, he came over to AEW, took on Adam Cole and tore his ACL. Landed wrong and tore his ACL. See, look at you, bud. AKW beats. Come on, man. I watched the Hurricanes game, I watched the Heat game, and I watched SmackDown. Come on, buddy. You got to make this work. I had the Canes game on my phone. The tablet was the Heat game, and I was watching SmackDown on the TV. AKW beats. Where there's the will, there's a way, my man. Where there's a will, there's a way. Can make it happen. And yes, the Heat did win. Although the Canes came up a little bit short in the ACC semifinal tournament. So we'll see where they go from here. But the Heat did win. Right now, Nice and Swerve, good back and forth match, man. I love Swerve. I love his moves. He's very fluid as a wrestler. And that's what you'll see from a lot of these guys in AEW, really. It's the fluidity of their moves. Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, all those guys are just very fluid. Do you think Rampage will go to 2 hours? Not if it stays at 10. No. You know what? I was thinking about this today, man, and I wonder. I got to look at TNT and see what they do on Monday nights. But I ultimately think what AEW needs to do is go head to head with Raw with one of their shows. I don't think you move Dynamite. But why not move Rampage to Monday? You ain't got to go 8 to 11. Go either 9 to 11 or 8 to 10. Go 8 to 10 and then see just throw it out. Maybe just do a special show one Monday. Something scheduled on Friday and Rampage, so we're gonna have to move it to a special Monday show. Throw it out there, see what happens with the ratings. See where you stand with the ratings. Because right now, the eyes are really on wrestling right now, believe it or not. And I talked a little bit about the article. It was on Outkick. I don't really read a lot of it, but I did see it today. Somebody retweeted it, so I saw it. And I went and I checked it out. And, Raw was the top leading show on Monday night. Dynamite was the top leading show on cable TV on Wednesday night. SmackDown leads television on Friday nights. So ultimately, man, I mean, the eyes are there on wrestling. So why not sit there and say, hey, let's see what we can do on Monday night. Let's see where we're at. But also, you're taking the chance because now, if it doesn't go well, how do you, also, if Raw kills them in the ratings and they draw very poorly, again, WWE fans will go at AEW. Whereas, ultimately, if AEW does be Raw, then AEW fans will go at Raw too. So, but ultimately, I think what needs to happen is they need to figure out a way to change Rampage up. I just think this live 1 week, tape the next, so results. It's it's a good hour of TV. It's a good hour of entertainment, but ratings wise, I don't know what they're going to do. I know Turner Broadcasting is very happy with what Dynamite's doing. I don't know if they're happy with what is happening on Rampage, but also in that story, which I didn't even put the two together, but Time Warner owns HBO Max. So they were talking about it. If that's their partner, AEW is Warner Media. They own HBO Max. It's only a matter of time, I think, before you'll start seeing AEW show up and be on HBO Max. And ultimately, I think you'll end up seeing the pay-per-views also move to there, and you'll see, because right now they said in the article they said right now AEW Dynamite's getting $45 million a year for their TV contract with TBS with Turner. It's $1 billion is the contract for SmackDown, and Raw went up to 285 million. I'm thinking that's over a certain amount of time. That's not 1 billion a year, not 285. I don't know. They didn't have the years in the article, but I mean, when you're looking at that type of money, and I mean the ratings really are not as good as. I mean, I look back at Monday Night Wars. You had 4.3s against 4.1. So you have eight. You're looking at 8.4 total watching wrestling. And now it's, 2.2, 2.3 is great for SmackDown. This last Raw did a 1.7, and AEW Dynamite did a little bit over 1.0. So AKW beats What Happened to Big E. Again, Rich Holland outside the ring went to do a belly to belly over the top, slant over the top rope, belly to belly, over the top rope, over the head, belly to belly, and didn't rotate all the way through. And Big E landed on his head and rotated over. And he did stay down out there. And then when they went to break, they brought out the stretcher. They wheeled him out. Since he has went to the hospital, he has posted on his Instagram. They're telling him that he has a broken neck, which anybody that knows wrestling is not a. I mean, again, Kurt Angle, he wrestled with a broken freaking neck. I get all that, but the problem nowadays, it isn't. Kurt Angle was able to wrestle because Kurt Angle wanted to wrestle. Most doctors now are not going to put their names on neck injuries. And I used the instance for us down here in South Florida, the Markeith Morris situation. He had neck injury before. He got hit with Joe kicks in the back. And since then, he's battling to try to get back in. He says he's ready to go. I think they think he's ready to go, but doctors are not clearing him. Neck injuries are not something that a lot of people are going to sit around and mess with, especially in wrestling when you're throwing your body on the ground. I mean, it's not normal. You're going, so if you're coming off the top rope, you can get up to 12, 20 feet up in the air and coming down. If you're Big E and Big E's instance, you're what, almost 300 pounds? And it's very tough to put your body through that, or for a doctor to sit there and be like, you know what, you're good to go. We're gonna let you go. We're gonna put you back out there. We think you're good to go. I think it's gonna be some time before you see Big E. I know there's a lot of changes in medicine and surgeries and everything else, but I think neck injuries are not knees, man. A knee injury, you can sit there, you can run the ropes, you can do your stuff, and they can say, okay, good to go. No, I don't think Big here. The other thing, Frankie Fresco, is WWE is a traded company, man. They're a publicly traded company. I don't think you can put a performer out there performing could end up seriously injured, whether he signs off or not. I mean, I just think that's just a crappy work environment in a way. I mean, like, hey, you know what? You broke your neck. We don't care if you want to wrestle. Go ahead, wrestle. I think there's more respect for Big E than that, to where they'll just be like, hey, you know what? Let's just take the risk and see what happens. No, back in the day, yeah, it would have happened. I've seen, is Ric Flair. Add marks, everything I've seen, and I think he's burned bridges with WWE. There's a reason why right now it's big time Bex and not the man Becky Lynch. There's a reason, and Ric Flair is that reason. So, um, I don't know. I know again, you never say never in pro wrestling because as soon as you do, Ric Flair will be out there managing the next group of guys coming up. So you never say never, but there's some fences that need to be mended and some bridges that need to be built once again with Ric Flair. Wrestling is growing again. I stopped watching wrestling for a couple of years, but when AEW, I started watching it, and now from time to time I watch WWE. Yeah, I mean, look, man, this is the thing is you can't put I don't know that they want to pay that money, man, for Ric. What do you do with Ric Flair? Where do you bring him in right now? If you're Tony Khan, you have all this talent right now. Where does Ric Flair fit into AEW? The one place I thought was with Andrade when you're doing there, but Andrade now is starting to come into his own and do his thing to where I think it's better him doing his, the way the talking and everything. I thought would have an issue with that. I think it adds more intrigue to his character and the development of that character with what he's doing right now. So, I just don't know where you bring him in to do. Do you make it a one-off? I don't know. I don't know where he goes. Where was that? I was looking at something. Oh, with the Ric Flair, if no one's signing off. I'm sorry, with Big E, with no one signing off for WWE. I mean, back in the day, you would have guys they'd wrestle injured, man. Now, because again, that was how they got paid. Nowadays, it's very, you got doctors there now. You've got, you're drug tested. Back in the day, it was the wild, wild west. You just didn't tell them you were injured unless your bone was sticking out of your leg. Make Ric Flair like a manager, CEO kind of thing. Ad Marks, I agree, but isn't there too many of those right now? I mean, I know FTR just fired Tully Blanchard, but now is he gone, or is he coming back? Okay, you've got Arn Anderson, you've got Andrade right now, which Chavo Guerrero might end up coming back after they finish the Young Rock season 2 filming. There's been a lot of hoopla about that because of some tweets that were sent and then deleted, and then so there's been some talk there. But how many guys can you have as manager CEOs? Now you just brought in William Regal. He's with Moxley and Bryan Danielson. I agree. I think he could play. He's perfect for that position. I just don't know where he fits in on AEW right now. Where do you bring him in, and where do you give him TV time? Whose TV time do you take away? Because you have to remember one thing too right now. There's no Kenny Omega, right? He's not getting any time right now. Miro's not getting any TV time right now. You still got Lance Archer, Brian Cage. I mean, you've got guys that you still got Bray Wyatt out there somewhere. Hell, who knows what's going on with Cody Rhodes? I mean, you've got guys, none of those guys are doing anything on TV right now. Yeah, and you're right. You got Dan Lambert right now who's doing with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. And now Paige Van Zant just signed on Wednesday night at the end on Tay Conti's ass. Signed her contract right there and stamped it on there. So again, to me, there were so many factions in AEW, and ultimately you're going to get more because they want to do a trios title once Omega comes back, because I think you're going to have Omega and the Young Bucks. You're going to have Adam Cole and Red Dragon. You've got Jurassic Express and Christian Cage, right? You've got Darby Allin, Sting, Sammy Guevara, I guess at one point. You can have those three. I mean, Kenny Omega, my understanding is that he has healed up. And now it's just a matter of when and where do they bring him back. I mean, again, I guess he's healed up as much or as good as he's probably going to get. I don't think Kenny Omega will ever be healed up 100%, man. That dude is just a workhorse, man. He went for so many years and just put his body through hell. I can't think that, he got his knees, he got some stuff cleaned up and things like that. I just don't think he's ever going to be 100%. But my understanding is he's getting pretty close to being good enough to return. And I think once you start seeing talk of a trios tag team title coming out, I think you'll start seeing more of an inkling. I know on the buy-in show, Don Callis came out and said some things, so laid some seeds there. So we'll have to see. Ed Marks, I just missed good old days, bro. Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Wrestling is not the same, but also you have to evolve with it, right? It's just like I talk about it a lot. Down here is like, man, you have to evolve with it. If you stick around and like football, again, go back into football. If you're just a run the ball guy, then you're not liking this type of the pass offense and stuff, and you don't evolve with it. You're just gonna be just an upset individual all the time, man. It's like I said, I'm not AEW, I'm not WWE. I love pro wrestling, man. I love pro wrestling. I remember the first time I saw Darby Allin, I said, there's no way you're going to make me buy this guy. There's no way. 3 matches with Cody Rhodes later, and I'm like, okay, all right, he can go. All right, he's good. I just, at first, when I don't look at guys and go, okay, no. Now I look at some guys and I'll be like, okay, I need to see what makes him different. What's going to make me believe or invest in this gimmick, this character? Marco Stunt, I think they just didn't pick up his contract. I think what's happening now is a lot of contracts are coming up and they're just not picking them back up. They're just kind of, letting them, I guess you want to say release them or however. But I mean, what do you do with them now, man? I mean, that's the whole thing with, all these, everybody's like, oh, sign this guy, sign that guy, sign that guy. But when you sign guys, you got to start letting guys go. And AEW as a young company didn't have that issue because I think they signed everybody to 2 or 3 year deals. Now a lot of those deals are coming up. So now AEW is going to start being that company that has to start releasing people or not re-signing people, not necessarily releasing them, but just not maybe re-signing them. Because now it starts becoming business decisions. Who makes us money? Who doesn't? And I say it again is who is paying for CM Punk? Who's paying for Bryan Danielson? Who's paying the contracts for some of these guys? Is it AEW or is it one of the Shad Khan, investment groups or something like that? Because I go back again to WCW days. Like I say all the time, Hogan and them were being paid by Turner Broadcasting, not WCW, Turner Broadcasting, which is why when Vince McMahon bought WCW, their contracts did not come over. There's a reason Booker T showed up. There's a reason all those other people showed up. So, yes, there's truth to it. He will be at WrestleMania 38. He will be on the KO show with Kevin Owens, and he's already said he's going to stomp a mud hole in him. So apparently there's going to be some altercation there with Kevin Owens and Stone Cold. The ROH roster can get a boost. Well, right now there's no ROH roster. All their contracts were expired as of, I think it was March 1st. All contracts were expired, so nobody is signed to ROH right now. I know they're putting on a show April 1st in Dallas or Denton or somewhere up there around where WrestleMania is going to be up. I don't know if he's necessarily fighting Kevin Owens. It's going to be a KO show, which is his little talk show that he does. But Stone Cold said he's coming to stomp a mud hole in him, and we'll see if he walks it dry, as good old JR says. I don't know, and again, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that he's fighting. All I've heard is that he's showing up to be on the KO show. But when he talked and he did his little vignette that he did from his ranch, he said he's coming to fight. So I don't know which one it's going to be. But again, with ROH right now, there is no roster. They've signed a few guys to show up and be on that card, and I'm sure some of the AEW guys will also be brought down there because they're going to use that as their developmental, which I think is a smart idea. Because again, the money is in the library. If you get a streaming service and you can stream that Ring of Honor content, that's enough right there. Add it with your already AEW library, and to me, right now, you could probably start a streaming. You could start an AEW streaming service, on HBO Max. HBO Max could start streaming AEW shows, you know? And then, like somebody said the other day, the day after, put them up. Put them out there on HBO Max. But with that library, you've got to start making some money off that library. That library is tremendous. I mean, young CM Punk, young, American Dragon Bryan Danielson, young Christopher Daniels. What do you got? Kevin Owens, El Generico, Cesaro. You've got. Oh, hold on. I have got to block somebody. All right, Naked HD, you are out of here. HBO Max is bigger than Peacock. Yeah, you know what was interesting also, and I forgot about it until you just brought this up, Frankie, is so Peacock has about, I think, 3 million subscribers, and supposedly half of them have gone to Peacock because of the WWE Network being there now. So if I'm Warner Media and you're getting that kind of to Peacock from WWE, and I can take AEW and get them on as quickly as possible, I think as a business decision, it'd be quite good to add that to HBO Max. I think you'll get some people to actually purchase it just for the AEW content. I'm not saying they're going to go, you're going to get millions and millions of people. Yeah, no, I mean, Frank, I did too as well. But Xfinity, you get it for free anyways, which to me is the reason, as we discussed here before. That's why it's so lazy booking in WWE. Man, this has gone a lot longer than I planned on here on Friday night. I appreciate everybody that's been on with me. Don't forget, follow me on Instagram, Twitter at Sean_Stanley11. Drop questions in the DMs if you got any. You can also Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. Just put on there Square Circle Digest or Wrestling Question, and we'll contact with you, or just leave a comment on this video, and I'll reach out to you. I want to thank everybody that has been interacting here with me. Frankie, Abraham, Ad Marks, AKW Beats, always, Larry Jr., Giordano, Bradley S. We had Ron on here as well. Mike, appreciate all of you. Armando, Mauricio, Mike. Again, Bradley, thank you for the super chat earlier on, man. Appreciate it. And again, if you're just joining in or you're coming in, Big E looks like he suffered a broken neck at the Smackdown tapings tonight. And Frankie, thank you, my man. Always appreciate all the input, good or bad. We're looking to add some interviews within the next couple weeks. So we'll have some independent wrestlers on, and then also some names as well. So we're getting some interviews booked. And when we have that, I will let you know when we do them, trying to work on a timing and get the timing down with when they can come on. Also promote some of the shows coming up locally. If you got a show in your area, wherever you're at, and they want to get some promotion, they get some interviews on here. Again, reach out to me at Sean_Stanley11. And I want this to be interactive. I want this to grow. Hit that smash the like button. Thanks, Frankie. I appreciate that. Until Monday, it will be Monday. Wow, look at that. I got a weekend off. No pay-per-view. Until Monday, in the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the Sunshine State.